And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back into another episode of the Duval Vibes podcast. As a lot of you guys know, we do these different podcasts every single week inside of the Relevant app. The Relevant app, you can download that app down below in the Jaguars Fanatics Vibe. We do this every week. Myself and Tom McManus go over there and do a show over there. But every once in a while, we'll bring it onto YouTube just to let you guys know that, that is happening and, just to kind of promote it through here a little bit. So welcome into the show. As we wait for Tom McManus to join, we'll, give a few shout outs. Beanie Baby was first in the building. What's up, man? Mindset says, I am in the building. What's going on, brother? Eddie Clutch in here. J-Man, what's up, bro? What's going on, guys? Really, really good to have you guys in here. We move along with the NFL schedule, man. Obviously, Jaguars hired their head coach. The head coach finalizes his coaching staff. And then now we kind of look forward to free agency to kind of figure out what players on our roster we want to keep, who we want to move on from, and we'll preview all that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Tom McManus to the stream. Tom, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Dalton? How you doing?
All good here, man. All good. Just
Good.
I'm happy. I'm happy we moved on from the coaching search last Friday. They finalized it, had their press conference, and then now it seems like we're really shifting gears into deciding what upcoming free agents we want to keep on the Jaguars and who we kind of walk.
Yeah, that's always, that's a tough one. I know Cam Robinson's on everybody's mind, what to do with him. Do you tag him? Do you let him walk? Do you sign him to a long-term deal? I know this with hearing everything you hear from Doug Peterson. That offensive line's a focal point now. So, I was thinking about different lineup ideas. You can really go a couple different ways, Dalton. Yeah, you could totally revamp, obviously. Look, I don't think there's many guys on the free agent open market or going to be on the open market that are better than Cam.
There's not.
I don't. Not. I mean, I don't know.
There's Armstead on New Orleans, but he's got injury history, which scares me. I don't want to bring in a guy
but so does Linder, and we've paid him to be the highest paid center. You know what I mean? I mean, that's But he when he plays, he's a more dominant tackle than Cam. You can say that. Orlando Brown Jr., you're not going to get him. Kansas City's not going to let him go.
Yeah, they just traded a first-round pick for him. So
I doubt that's going to happen. So I might go bird in hand and keep him. But I would say this. I would look at Scherf. I'd look at Jensen. I would look at really upgrading that offensive line. I think Little's my right tackle regardless. Because you draft Neal, looks like you'll draft Neal, and I think that'll be a good thing. And move him to guard. Everyone's so worried about, no, he's got to play tackle. No, he doesn't. He's a long-term investment. That doesn't mean he's got to start out at that long-term investment spot. It doesn't matter. He can play guard for a year if we need him to. Or maybe he's so good he beats Cam out and you figure out Cam. I don't know. But I'm worried that if we let Cam go, then we're relying on the rookie. Because aside from the rookie and aside from Teron Armstead out of the Saints, I don't know if there's many left tackles better than Cam right now.
And the thing that made me think about wanting to really tag Cam and keep him at all costs is really two reasons. I mean, we just went 3-14. I don't think we're really in any business to just let good players walk. And I also think that, look, you can let Cam walk and you say, okay, we're going to draft Evan Neal number one. We're comfortable with that. But then all of a sudden you're kind of closing your options because you say, what if a team offers you some a team gets really high on a quarterback, like the Broncos sitting at number 9, and they offer us 2 first-round picks. They offer us some more, stuff in there. Then you say, we would have been comfortable, but we banked on Evan Neal being our left tackle, and now we have nobody there. And I think you get into a situation where the Jaguars can afford Cam Robinson. They can afford Cam Robinson. We don't need to let him walk. Just like that. So I keep Cam Robinson, and I was even making a point of, it's never a bad thing to have too many good offensive linemen. And I mean, you could literally keep Cam Robinson at left tackle, have, maybe Walker Little play right tackle. And Evan Neal has played left guard freshman year, right tackle his sophomore year, left tackle his junior year. So he's played all around there. I mean, a 1 year move where Evan Neal plays left guard and then he kicks out the left tackle his second year, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, no, agreed. And look, you're not getting rid of Cam if you're not sure you're going to upgrade him. You know what I mean? And if you're going to rely on a rookie to upgrade him, I'm a little concerned about that. And no matter how good Neal may be, and he may be that next great left tackle. I mean, they're not saying that. They're saying he could be very good. He's obviously massive, long reach and a big, powerful body.
Mm-hmm.
Played left tackle for Bama. That's good enough for me. But you know what? So did Jonah Williams, and he's not very good. Although he's coming, he came off that knee early.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, bird in hand, which means, you take that. Look, think about this from a percentage standpoint. You can rely on Cam. How many percentage of a game? 85?
Yeah.
Right? Is that fair? 15% of the time, he gives up a sack or, whatever, a big pressure.
It's a pressure, yeah.
But you'll take that. There's not like this plethora of left tackles in the game that A, are available, and B, that are going to be better than the one you have right now. So,
and another thing to think about, if you have Cam Robinson playing left tackle, like a big trade candidate last year, everyone's like, oh, the Jaguars might give up Cam Robinson. We're like, no, we're not. But what if the Jaguars, they keep Cam Robinson, start him at left tackle, Evan Neal's just killing it, at left guard, and, they get a second-round pick option at the trade deadline. We have a lot of options, and I think letting Cam Robinson walk would be irresponsible, especially because this isn't going to hurt us in 2023. We have plenty of money in 2022.
Right.
So now, the money shouldn't be an issue.
No, money shouldn't be an issue. And you look, if you're going to have to pay Cam $16 million for the year, and he becomes the worst case scenario, your swing tackle, your first tackle in if needed. Now, granted, Doug Peterson and company, they may watch the tape and say, you know what? I like what Walker Little can do. I'm going to take my chances and let him walk. Now, I don't know if I would do that based off 2 games where he did play pretty well, but I don't know if I'm ready to give him that starting job just yet either, or let him and Neal battle it out and the loser play right tackle. I don't know if I'm totally comfortable with that either. Again, I think with the cap room, it's a 1 year. Yeah, the entire salary for the year hits the cap, but they're not. They're in very good cap position. So I'd probably sign them just to cover my ass a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mitigate the risk a little bit, and then let's figure it out after that.
Yeah.
Do they keep Norwell? That's going to be interesting. Do you keep Linder? Do you keep any of the? I don't think you get rid of Juwan Taylor. He's too young. You got to see if you can get anything out of him. But, you got to wonder. You got to wonder. Can's probably gone. Linder, I don't know. I've done these couple whatever you call them, just ideas. But I could see Linder and Scherf and Neal and Robinson and Little. Think about that.
I was thinking
that's
that
pretty
too.
Powerful. That could be pretty badass.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it feels like it's an easier track to fix the O-line because it feels like we could fix it next year. It just feels like wide receiver might be a 2-year fix when you look at things.
Well, it depends how much you spend on the O-line, right? So can you afford, one of these big price? And will they be gone? Will they be let go? And think about that from the wide receiver standpoint, Dalton. You've got Devontae Adams. He's not going anywhere. Mike Williams, you're hearing they're going to try to keep him. I mean, they're all going to. I mean, the good ones they try not to let out the door.
All the top receivers, the Bucks want to keep Godwin. The Packers obviously want to keep Devontae Adams. The Cowboys want to keep Michael Gallup. It's just, that's a tough thing about free agency because you have to evaluate. Okay, who's going to be there? How much of the Jaguars going to spend? But when you're drafting, it's so much easier with the draft because you're going to have number 1 pick and who's going to be there. So it's so hard to project these things.
Yeah. No doubt. That's what makes it exciting too, though, when the clock ticks,
Oh yeah. 100%.
I don't know. It could be worse. You could look at the USFL draft and not recognize one damn name in the whole draft. I was no star player. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I was a grunt, but man, I'm like, what? Who are I've never heard of these guys before, but good for them.
Yeah.
Get a chance. But yeah,
absolutely.
listen, we've got, free agency, the combines February 1.
Yeah,
We're going to get to see some guys move, hopefully. Hopefully, look, I don't care if they run the 40. I just want to see them move a little bit. I want
absolutely.
to see Neil move. I do.
Yeah.
And I want to see the other tackles move. Who are the two other ones? There's the kid they were showing at the Senior Bowl who was
Yeah,
tossing people
it's like a
around.
hard last name. It's
Yeah.
I saw
And then
because
there's
there's a
another
couple of them.
guy that they're
There's like a
like Frost, I think.
Iwonuki or something. I'd have to look it
Okay.
up, but
Yeah, I got to start studying those, who's out
yeah,
there.
I
But,
do too.
look,
Yeah,
who knows? You just don't know. And if you're Doug, you don't know what Doug Peterson's going to do and, what Trent Baalke's going to do. And are we having an EVP by the time all this starts? I don't know. I don't know if, it's interesting. Doug had some interesting comments about Trent, getting to know him, and hey, think about what they used to say about me back before I became the Philadelphia Eagles coach. I was no good. I was this, I
yeah,
was that. He's like, I'm just going to go by what I go by, his interaction with me. And so far, so good. So, look, again, regardless of what we think, as long as that GM and the head coach are on the same kind of player they want, physically, mentally, emotionally, it'll be all good. It'll be all good. Whether we
absolutely.
like, the guy or not, I don't even know him personally. But that's what they got to do. And I think Doug Peterson's going to have a big say in everything, and I'm confident he's going to put the right team together.
Yeah,
I
get to
am.
a couple
I
super
feel pretty good
chats.
about it.
Southside Jaguar, my guy, tell me what's up. Can we trade for Amari Cooper and outbid everyone for Devontae Adams? I would die and go to heaven. Yeah,
Oh,
there was a projected trade that was brought up today by
okay.
PFF. The
Yeah.
Jaguars give up our 2nd round pick and our 5th round pick
Oh,
for
for Amari.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And the thing, what you're hearing about the Cowboys is that they might potentially just cut Amari Cooper because he's just a lot of money and he's not producing as their top receiver.
Yeah.
I would be maybe interested in the 3rd round pick, but I don't know if I want to give up pick number 33 overall, especially because it feels like there's going to be some good wide receivers available at that spot.
If
I'm
a new coach, especially, I probably am not doing that. I mean, think about it. You gotta build a team, but you don't have to win in the first year. You got to win some, but you're building for the future, man. You're building so by year 3, you're vying for the conference championship at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously the goal. So if I'm a new coach, I'm probably not giving up my 33rd. That 33rd pick typically is a good football player.
Oh, it is. And you get all day to think about it, after the draft. You have the first pick.
That's right.
You can, and then teams are calling. You know exactly what the board looks like.
Yep.
That's a powerful pick, man. So
no doubt.
I wouldn't give it up. It would intrigue, especially since we have 2 3rd-round picks. That would intrigue me, but I don't know. I might test my.
What would you give up for Devontae Adams? Would you give up first pick overall?
I might.
Yeah, I might.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
I would actually. I'd be like,
I mean, I probably would too. I mean, you're getting a proven commodity. You know what I mean? And then, and if we're talking about number 33 overall pick, I mean, would you give up number 33 overall pick for DK Metcalf?
Oh, all day long.
Yeah, same here.
I would,
because it feel like
it's different than Amari Cooper.
When I see Amari Cooper, sometimes I wonder, like, is he having fun? Like, is he enjoying? Because he just doesn't show a lot like he's super into it. I don't know.
I don't feel like. I don't know. I don't feel like he's a true number 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know.
And he's
like
not. I mean, he's being outshined by the other receivers on that team. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's phenomenal. It's gonna be phenomenal. But when you think of like Devontae Adams, there's no comparison to Amari Cooper. I mean, there's none. They're not even close to one another.
Yeah.
You think of. Well, I guess Mike Williams would be. Mike Williams, the thing I like about Mike Williams is he's a big, tall, get down the field wide receiver. Now, if you keep Chark and he stays healthy, you already have that. That's another one we're going to have to figure out. Cam and DJ.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay one of them. Can't keep them both, right?
You don't think we'll be able to keep them both?
I mean, you could tag one, but you can't tag both, right? So
no, because I think you can tag Cam, but I don't think DJ Chark's going to get a multi-year deal from any team because his potential when it comes to his size and speed isn't going to match up to a potential multi-year contract he can get. But a team, he's better to bet on himself, take a 1-year deal, kind of like similar to what we gave like Dante Moncrief a few years ago, where it was like 1 year, like 13 million or something like that, and let him prove that he can be a week in, week out threat and go out there and do some good things. I mean, that's the direction I would go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, A-Rob got a nice deal coming off the injury, and he was more productive. I agree, but the upside on Chark's very enticing if you're another team. I would think if he can stay healthy, which is an if at this point, but you'll take 22 yards a catch. You'll take his production overall, especially with. I mean, look, he's a deep threat. DJ Chark's not a great wide receiver, but he is a big, tall, get down the field type receiver, and we need those. Now, is he the only one we need? No, we need more than that, but we need that kind of receiver in the game.
Yeah, and it feels like Chark needs to be coached really well too. It feels like he needs a coach. Oh, you're good.
Pardon me.
It feels like DJ Chark needs a coach that can get the best out of him.
Yeah, he's not a great route runner. He can get deep, but we need more. And
he has bad body language sometimes on the field too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. When you get hurt, I'm sure that bothers you. And then when you got a QB that misses you when you're open, that's got to be bothersome too. So I don't know. I think this: if we don't sign him to a long-term deal, 4-year deal, somebody will.
Okay.
I bet you they do. They'll take their chance. I mean, that's what part of what free agency is. You take a risk, and you hope you hit.
And especially as supply starts to get low and, guys get gobbled up, Godwin gets kept, Gallup gets kept. If you have Mike Williams get kept, you might start to have some teams get desperate and start to make some moves. Steve Boston with a $5 donation. Draft Neal to play right tackle. Played that before switching to left tackle. Walker has played left tackle, and he has shown he can hold his own. Yeah, so I think he's on a team that you let Cam Robinson walk. And if they decide to do that, I mean, I'm not someone that is going to sit here and get all pissed off and throw stuff around my room when we don't do things the way I want them to do it. I don't get the feeling they're going to let Cam Robinson walk just because I think that's, you're trying to build up your offensive line and you're letting your, I guess, most consistent lineman from last year walk. But, I mean, we can talk about what we want our offensive line to look like. I mean, the way I looked at it was have Cam Robinson at left tackle. I mean, he had a good year last year. You're not going to teach an old dog new tricks. You're not going to treat him the way and move him around. I don't think that's respectful to him. Draft Evan Neal, play him at left guard. Center, you might get forced to keep around Brandon Linder and do the Tyler Shatley handcuff with him. Right guard, that's where you have to figure out because like you said earlier, man, like the offensive line free agents this year aren't that great. It's kind of hard to find clear upgrades. So Brandon Scherf's a great upgrade, but every team's going to be after him.
Yeah, so and he gets hurt too, by the way. He's not always healthy.
He does. A lot of these guys do, and then have Walker Little play right tackle. I think you're doing pretty well for yourself there.
I just think with Walker, look, he just needs more time. I just don't think you can sit there and say based off 2 games that he's the guy. That doesn't mean he can't compete for the job. You know what I mean? But I'm not handing it over to him yet. I still think if you broke down Cam's tape, you'd say, all right, he's all right, at least for another year. Again, I'm not paying him long-term money, but I'm paying him another tag year. Let him make his money. Hey, that's not bad. 2 years, make about 30 mil. And then see what happens after that. A good thing is you draft Neal. You got 2 young tackles in Little, in Neal, Jawan Taylor. I'm not ready to totally close the book on him yet. He's got some work to do and got to improve. There's no doubt. But now you got 3 young guys, right?
And then you can spread your money out. You can really, when you have a second-year quarterback, first-year tackle, second-year tackle. I mean, you can really get creative with where you want to throw money.
Right. And look, I don't have to be right. That's not what I care about. I want them to be right.
Don't we
You know
all,
what I mean?
man?
I don't care if I'm right. I care if they're right, because if they're not right, we're going through this shit again. And
Well, it's
we've
funny
had
because I was
enough.
down on DJ Chark, and then I had all these people on Twitter. Oh, he's gonna prove you wrong. Just watch. I'm like, I want him to prove me wrong.
Yeah,
There's
right.
nobody that wants him to be successful more than me, because I want our
Right.
Jaguars to be successful. But
Right.
sometimes I want to be. When I do this stuff, I try to be as objective as I can.
Yeah, and look, I get it. You credibility is everything when it comes to media, and you try to be right. I just, I don't know. I'm just I guess I don't consider myself media, and I don't care if I'm right. I
Yeah, I don't know
like to
what I
be,
am.
I should say I try to be correct, but
Yeah.
if I'm not, it's
Did we lose Tom? Can you guys see me?
okay.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
no big deal. I saw we cut out. I just kept talking just for the
Yeah, you
hell of
cut
it.
out a little bit, but
Okay.
we have Steve with a 5 donation. He says, "Well, Tom would know better than me, but Peterson runs his zone scheme, not gap. We need more mobile linemen, not just big."
No doubt. That's a very good
And that's
point.
what the combine is for. We want to see Evan Neal move around, because that's
Yep.
we're going to see him move around a lot in space, and
Yep. Well, and
that's
that's why Norwell may stick,
yeah.
because he's that kind of zone. He's not a gapper like they've been trying to play with him since he
Yeah.
got here. Before he was totally zoned. So
Yeah,
you
because we
could
brought him
see
in when
him.
we had like Leonard Fournette. We had this downhill thing.
No,
It
I
was just a
know.
little bit different than what
And he
he
was
was
the
used to.
highest rated
He was an
offensive
all
lineman at the
pro.
time. Yeah, he was big
Yeah.
time. But for that system where he
Yeah.
can use his athleticism as opposed to maybe some lack of power overall.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting. Yeah, but that's a great point. And I don't know. It depends how much you're really going to pull your left tackle. But to me, a left tackle, it doesn't matter if you're a zone, gap, whatever. He's still got to handle the guy right across from him.
Yeah.
Pretty much every single time. So
quick intermission here. I do want to promote the Duval Vibes podcast that we're currently on right now. This is usually an exclusive show on Relevant, but every once in a while we'll pull up on YouTube just to let people know, hey man,
see
we're
my
out
big
there.
fat ugly head.
You're looking good, Tom. You're looking good. I wouldn't mess with you. I'll just say that. but yeah, we do download Relevant app. It's the Relevant without the E. You can see the logo right in the middle of the graphic, and join the Jaguars Fanatics Vibe for a group chat. Also, there's multiple different shows on there, and if you guys are out there and you guys do make Jaguars content and you're interested in kind of expanding where you do your shows, definitely hit me up on anywhere, Twitter, Instagram, down in the comment section. Hit me up on Relevant. We can dedicate a show to you, and somebody else you can join up, or if you're somebody new, if you're looking to get into podcasting and you really don't know how to do it or where to do it, all you need is your phone. So we don't. There's not really any requirements. So if you guys are interested, man, definitely hit me up, and we can get you acclimated, and we can try to get you to move forward. So
free download, very easy to use. Use it daily, whether you're interactively chatting with other like-minded fans, or you're going on going live on the mic and doing a little show like we do here on Duval Vibes.
Duval.
And we love doing it, talking about our Jags. You can check out other teams. All teams represented. Some are more have more members than others, but a lot of interaction. And then check out NFL Fanatics Vibe, which is more of a league vibe, and people are talking about all types of teams. I do a show on Thursday nights on there with a couple other former players. So it's going good, man. It's going good. We're getting into basketball too. I've been starting to talk to some basketball guys, so we'll be getting into the NBA and college hoops, and really growing the Pro Sports Fanatics collection. So check it out. Free download. Easy to use.
Are you a basketball guy, Tom?
Not really. And now if I watched in person, I'd be into it, because I'd be like, wow, these big dudes can really move. That I've always been enamored by that kind of stuff. Whether don't have to be big guys either, just speed and athleticism and all that kind of stuff is cool to me. And but as far as watching on TV, no, I did try to watch the NBA All-Star game the other night. I mean, gosh, those guys are unbelievable shooters, but yeah, it was boring. It was like, okay,
Yeah,
it's
might
like
as well watch the Pro Bowl.
you just, yeah, it felt like the Pro Bowl, but man, they're incredible athletes. But I do like March Madness. I'll
Yeah,
get into a little bit of March
that is good.
Madness, and just see
Yeah,
that. I mean, I used to play hoop as a kid, so I love the game. And I tell you what, I stopped playing after my freshman year in high school to go skiing, so we could go snow skiing in the winter. It was so stupid. I should have kept playing basketball because it's really good for you, good for your feet, good for your athleticism in open areas, that type of stuff. So so I get in a little bit of that, but I don't watch the NBA. I mean, not that
yeah.
I don't like the NBA, I don't know. To me, it's like you could watch the last 3 minutes of an NBA game and get all you need.
I'm just waiting for the Magic to become good so I can be a
Oh, that'd be
bandwagon.
nice.
But
Yeah, they were.
I just,
Remember Penny and
I mean,
Shaq? Ooh, that was
I'll be
sweet.
a proud band. I mean,
Vince.
I lived in Orlando for 10 years. They made the playoffs once. I'm like, dude, come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But the big
Had some
difference
great
between,
players, though.
I mean, the big difference between like the Jaguars and the Magic is like they both been pretty bad. But when you're in Jacksonville, you feel the presence of the Jaguars. Like
Yeah.
everywhere you go, there's people wearing Jaguar stuff. I'm here in Orlando, like it doesn't feel like we have an NBA team in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty sad.
Well, they've been irrelevant, and even though we have too, we're still relevant within our city. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. All good stuff, man. All good stuff.
Absolutely. So Dan Jaguars brings up. I hope the Jaguars can get Christian Kirk, Dalton Schultz, or Mike Gesicki and Chandler Jones. Yeah, I think that'd be a home run.
Ooh,
I mean,
I like it. I like that a lot.
And I think that's actually
Kirk would be great. Yeah, I
realistic.
think Kirk could be had. I think we could grab him. Deep threat, gotta like him. And I'd keep DJ with him. I would, man. I'd just find a way. I mean, look, DJ's
Keep
still
DJ with
young
him,
enough.
get a rookie in here. I think he'll be much improved.
Absolutely.
Agnew back healthy, hopefully. He's back full speed.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Marvin, you can still use Marvin. Number 3 kind of deal. Chenault, he's got a lot of work to do. I mean, you're not going to give up on him yet, but he better be working on his hands. If I was him, I'd be like catching cement bricks all off season. You know what I mean? Whip them at me as hard as you can.
He's got to work on himself.
He's
got to figure out what he wants his future to be because it just didn't feel like he was prepared this season. And hey, sometimes these guys have down years. It's on him to come back and improve. But there's a lot of good tight ends out in free agency. I gotta look.
Yeah, I like Gesicki out of Miami. I remember him out of Penn State. And I do like Schultz out of Dallas. But him and Arnold. Look, I think if Arnold gets more opportunities, he's just like Schultz. I think they're pretty close in what they can bring to the table.
So I have as for tight ends in free agency. There's going to be Zach Ertz, CJ Uzomah, Robert Tonyan, OJ Howard, Hayden Hurst, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Mike Gesicki. So I mean, I mean, I doubt Uzomah. I mean, Bengals have a lot of money. They probably find a way to.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him go either.
But yeah,
OJ Howard's interesting, but I don't know why Tom never really went to him. I guess because
also there's OJ Howard and David Njoku. They were first round picks in the same draft, and it's like, okay, where have these guys been? Like, why have I not been hearing their names at all? Those are interesting to me. But but Doug Peterson, one thing that Doug Peterson does, he knows how to utilize tight ends. So that should be exciting.
Yeah, and Ertz, I don't know. It depends what you get him for,
Yeah, I mean, his best years are behind him, so you'd probably rather go for someone.
I think a healthy Arnold could be a nice addition. I like the way that guy runs, man. He's got some wheels.
He was smooth. I mean, he was definitely seeing Dan Arnold with the ball was different than any tight end I've seen in the Jaguars uniform in a long time because he had that extra burst, man, and he has the size too.
Got to catch the ball, though, a little bit better. He had some drops himself, but, hopefully that gets better. But, yeah, they got to add to the I mean, because, like, O'Shaughnessy, like, God bless the guy. Like, he was a tough guy, but he gets hurt all the time. I mean, you can't count on him anymore. Ellison or whatever. I mean, you just got to upgrade. You got to upgrade that tight end. You got to upgrade the old line, the tight end, and you got to add to the wide receiver.
Yeah. And it feels like we got some good, like, one thing that's positive about this year is, like, the first 3 quarters of the season when we had Urban Meyer, we were like, where the hell are our rookies at? And then the last quarter of the season, like our day 2 picks between Walker Little, Andre Cisco, and Tyson Campbell, it was like they exploded. It's like you felt a lot better about your previous draft class after the season kind of ended, after seeing the last quarter of the season.
Well, think about it. I mean, Tyson, we weren't sold. We were like, oh man, but we knew
he was bad.
Well, he wasn't making plays on the ball, but he was never getting burnt. That was one thing about him. Even when he was giving up yardage, and getting beat. I mean, he's still getting beat. So obviously that equates to being bad. I get it, but it wasn't like he was getting smoked out there. He was right there. And then little by little, he started getting better, making plays on the ball, being right there. You could count on him. And then with Little too, last 2 games were good. At first, when it first came out, you're like, oh man, he's catching blocks. He's, getting work. They're pushing him around. Remember the first start or second start, he wasn't very good. And then Cisco, you're like, where the hell you been all year? But he shows up and probably your most.
Yeah, I think Tom cut out a little bit. I'll read this comment real quick.
See if we can get it back. There we go. Sorry about that.
There we go. Oh, you're good, man.
So I'm just saying with Cisco, where he's been, and then he's one of the most athletic safeties we've had. So, they came on. They came on at the right time. So, hopefully they continue to develop. I think Campbell could be a stud.
Yeah,
I do. I think he's got the tools. He's just got to be a little bit better. And look, let's face it. The coaching staff, no disrespect, but they didn't really coach him up very well. They didn't coach any of them up very well.
Yeah.
It didn't seem. So you expect Doug Peterson's staff to coach these guys up, and it's funny, when I went on a run, and my daughter goes to La Villa downtown, so she had on Monday, the day off for President's Day, she had a rehearsal. So I went down, I parked the car, had about an hour and a half, 2 hours to kill. So I went for a run down the river walk all the way down. As I'm coming back, I see, I recognize Brenson Buckner, and then another coach. I didn't say, I always said it was good luck. I didn't say, anything. I didn't stop or anything like that. But man, Brenson's a big dude. Holy moly.
Should have gave him some fan. That's a D-line coach, right?
Yeah, he's a D-line. He looks like a D-lineman. He's still pretty damn big. But so look, I'm expecting this coaching staff to do a better job than we've seen, and really develop these players, especially our QB. And I think we're going to get that. And look, let's just hope they add the right talent and the right guys. Yeah. And I think it's exciting. I do. And if Neal turns out to be, another top 15 like Cam, maybe you take that risk.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if Little can be more than a top. Cam's top 15. I think so. Okay, so that may not be that great. It's half. Top half. He's not top 10. He may be up near top 12 or 13 of the tackles. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, right now, Little's not there. You know what I mean? Taylor's not there. Who's your best tackle?
That's why you got to slap a franchise tag.
That's why I think you got to tag him. I agree with you. I do.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to good for Cam. He gets that all guaranteed money. I know it's not the big money, but he's still young enough to make that big contract. After this year, they gotta pay him or let him walk and get paid. So
yeah,
not a bad deal for him.
Shout out to Twin Scratchers. He says, "Love the channel, bro. Keep on pushing. I am a Jacksonville native, born and raised. Looking forward to this upcoming season." Yeah, we're all excited for it, man. Shout out to you. King Luca with a $20 donation. Thank you so much, man. He says, "I am a fan of DJ, but take away 2018. What has he done? I think we go after Williams or Robinson, and then go after Dalton or Mike. And then at pick 33, draft Dotson, Bell, or London. I'm not Soma LaVisca. Pick 70, draft Windermere." Yeah, so I'm kind of in line with you.
Doing your homework there.
I think DJ has been a little bit disappointing, and he has some health concerns. And I think he's got a lot of parts missing to his game. I would definitely look to upgrade if you can, but I wouldn't be mad with keeping him around just because the thing that sucks most about free agency is that we don't know who's going to be available. Obviously, I'd rather throw a bunch of money at Godwin and let DJ Chark walk, but we don't know if Godwin's going to be
If
there.
you could,
You know what I mean?
hey, look, if you could get Mike Williams, I'd let DJ walk, but you don't know if you're going to get him. Godwin too. Draft, that's different. You may have you got a good shot at those guys, but with free agency, you just got to wait and see who's going to be available. Yeah. Who's going to get tagged? Who's not going to get tagged? Who's going to get a long-term deal? Whatever, So that's the thing about free. It's like with the draft. People are like, just trade down. Well, you got to. There's got to be a partner.
Like, what do you want to trade down for? If you're going to move from 1 to 5 and all you're getting is a second round
who
pick,
you targeting?
Do you want to do it?
No.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we want to. It's like, okay, we want to get out of number 1 because nobody's worth the number 1 pick. Okay, then why are other teams going to want to move up to number 1? There's nobody worth number 1 pick. You know what I mean? You gotta see both sides of it.
Totally.
Rico says it's just been hard for me to pass up on these pass rushers because thinking about Josh Allen and one of them going for QB sounds nice and Cam is good. Yeah, that's intriguing because one thing that you have to look at with Evan Neal is, okay, if we get him, how much of an upgrade is it from Cam Robinson? Are you truly upgrading, or are you just taking a guy because his contract's going to be cheaper? Because it feels like right now the gap between Cam Robinson and Evan Neal is probably smaller than the gap between like Aiden Hutchinson and DeJuan Smoot or whoever and it's hard to compare it to Josh Allen because look, you need a DE1 and a DE2, and it feels like Josh Allen is more of a DE2 that's going to feed off of other guys absorbing stuff. So he makes a good point. I mean, I wouldn't be. That's why you had to evaluate everything, take the number 1 guy and roll from there, because you can't afford to say, oh, we need defensive end, let's get him. You can't. You got to get the best guy and run with it.
Can you get a Chandler Jones, where Brenton coached in Arizona? Can that be the match? Because if you grab him, then you don't need,
Chandler Jones would be a home run. Chandler Jones would be a home run.
I'm just not sold on I'm not sold on Hutchinson or Thibodeau. I got to see more on Thibodeau to see him move for upside, but I don't know. Hutchinson
I don't like Thibodeau.
I just, looking at it's not totally fair because I didn't watch a ton of Michigan football, but, I watched a few games. I watched early in the year, I forget who they played, maybe Michigan State. And then I watched, I don't know. I forget what time of the year that was. I think it was Michigan State. And then I watched the Ohio State, which he was phenomenal. And then I was intrigued to watch Georgia, and then he got shut down. Everyone makes excuses for him, but if you're the number 2 pick in the draft, you're making at least some plays. You're not getting shut down. By a tackle that, a very good tackle, but I don't know. I think this class just doesn't seem that strong. He just seems like he's the best maybe of the class. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, and I think when you're evaluating
I don't think anything
guys,
special. I don't see Trey Hendrickson out of him.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't.
No.
Do you see Max Crosby out of him?
Probably
you know what I'm talking
not.
about? Do you see any of the defensive ends, that really can play the game? Because he's not a 3-4 backer. He's a right defensive end.
Yeah. Like a big end,
So
the Jaguars, I mean, they have to, and this tricky thing with scouting, and it's why it's a multi-million-dollar industry and why guys miss all the time is you have to project. You have to draft these guys not necessarily on what they've done, but what their potential is and what they think they can do. Because Justin Herbert, when he was at Oregon, he wasn't like that great, and a lot of it was because the offense that he was in, and then they put him into a different offense, and this guy just exploded, with his arm strength and with his size and stuff like that. So that's the tricky thing about this.
That's what. That was the upside for him, was the talent. Regardless of how he did in college, it was like, look at this kid. He's big. He can throw it a mile. He's got velocity. He can run. He's tough. He played tough football up there. So, that's like, that jumps out at you. You know what I mean? And again, it's not fair for me and Thibodeau because I really haven't seen him play. I want to see him move. I want to see him.
And that's what's exciting about the combine. I think the combine is next weekend. So it'll start. Well, is it like a Thursday through Sunday kind of thing.
Oh no,
Let
I
me
think
see.
it goes unless they shortened it. No, it normally goes into the following Monday or Tuesday. I think.
Yeah,
Aren't the
so it's Tuesday,
DBs?
March 1st through Monday, March 7th. And I
Okay,
think
yeah, that
the
makes
first
sense.
couple days were like weigh-ins and stuff like that, right? And then they kind of
Yeah,
get into the action.
yeah. I wasn't
So
invited to the combine. I only had a pro day, so I never
yeah,
experienced. Thank goodness. I probably
hey,
would
you
have
beat
ran a
the odds.
5.240.
Yeah.
That would have really killed me.
Hey, not as it wouldn't have killed you as much as today's era's linebackers would have killed you because nowadays they need like everybody in the back seven to be speedy as
Oh
hell.
yeah, you got to run with that tight end and that cover too, man. And man,
Yeah.
you got to be the Devin Smiths of the world. I was not that. That's for sure.
Steve says sign outside linebacker Hasan Reddick, 23 and a half
Okay.
sacks
Yep.
and 8 forced fumbles in 2 years at Carolina, marked at
Yep.
8 to 9 million a year. And
Beast.
and
Beast.
the defensive end market is pretty good.
Yeah.
The offensive line isn't. The defensive end market, it feels like it's pretty good. So
And I
you
think
got to think we
Caldwell's
might
more
get
of a
somebody.
4-3, so that could be a fit, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good with he was good with Arizona too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Good call.
definitely a lot of options. But
Yep.
yeah, we're excited. I do want to just bring up a quick graphic and just these are
Okay.
these are the upcoming free agents for the Jaguars. Let me see if I can. Okay, so unrestricted free agent. We can kind of go through these quickly. We spoke
Yep.
about Cam Robinson. We're going to keep him. Wide receiver DJ Chark. You said that you would try to sign him to a big deal or a decent deal, right?
Depending on who I can get in free
Yeah.
agency, yes.
Okay. Left guard Andrew Norwell. What
Or
would you do with him?
let me rephrase. You don't know who
Okay.
you're going to get, who you think you're going to get, right? I mean, you're making calls and all that. You got to be confident you're going to get somebody. You're not just going to let him walk,
Yeah, contingent on the
without it.
market, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Left guard Andrew Norwell.
No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't. Well,
neither would I.
unless it's the zone, and then maybe.
Right guard AJ Can.
No.
Yeah, I feel like Ben Bartz is
No.
going to fit
It's
in there.
just time. It's time. It's time to move on from AJ.
And then after this, I mean,
Nope.
Taven Bryan,
No.
G. Hard Ward,
No.
Tyler Shatley, I would keep as
No.
a handcuff if you want to keep Brandon Linder around for me.
You know, you know what? They've been around here long enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, they're okay. They're not bad, but you can upgrade. I think you can upgrade both of them, to be honest with you. But I'm cool if they keep Linder for his final year of the contract, and because he's good. He's good. He's just not.
It's just how much turnover do you want at the offensive line? There's only so many spots
with
you
your
can really
quarterback
replace.
too, right?
Yeah, and it feels like you might get a new left tackle, you might get a new
Yep.
a new, left guard. I mean, are we going to get like a 60% turnover there? I don't know. So that's one to think about.
Yep.
Trey Herndon, no thanks for me.
No.
Just too slow.
No.
Damian Wilson,
yes, I'd
I'd
keep
keep
him.
James O'Shaughnessy, that's a no for me.
No, gets hurt too much.
Nevin Lawson,
I'd probably keep Nevin just for
if you want to keep him as
Yep.
the end of the maybe practice squad, call him up if a guy gets hurt.
Yep.
Adam Gotsis, I'd keep him.
Yep, for sure.
Taven Austin, no.
No.
Lorente McCray, no.
No.
Hollister, no.
No.
Treadwell, that's a maybe for me. Let him
Yeah.
bring him into training camp and let him
Yeah.
compete for me.
Yep.
And obviously we don't know how much. There's a lot we need to do at the wide receiver position, and we have no idea what that room is going to look like. So
Right.
keep him around just for training camp and stuff. Jadon Mickens, probably not. Linebacker Terrell, I don't know who that is. J.K. Scott, he was a backup punter, and Will Richardson, I might
keep him just for a rotation.
Yeah.
See
well,
if
he's played a lot of positions, man. He can move around a lot.
He can. He can play guard. I think he can play center too. That guy, but
yeah.
Yeah. So you're keeping a handful.
Yeah.
Maybe
absolutely.
7.
Yeah.
You got to keep some. You can't get rid of them all.
Yeah, you can't turn over the whole roster.
As
much as we like to say, okay, Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, Brandon Scherf, we gotta be realistic with it all at the same time.
Gosh, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be. But I like the Hasan Reddick call. That was a good call. Could be a good one too. Or if you miss on Chandler Jones,
Yeah. Well, the Jaguars certainly have money to spend, and we gotta start spending it. We went great value addition last year. We were getting the we weren't getting the name brand guys. We were getting the Walmart brand. Trying to go out and
Right.
time to go out and actually spend some money, man. Don't be
The
cheap.
blue light special at Kmart.
And it feels like Doug Peterson's going to have a lot of input on it. So, like you were saying earlier, I hope they have a good relationship. I hope Balky becomes a great GM because I want what's good for the Jaguars, man. If you have that Jaguar logo on your chest and you're in that building, I'm a fan of yours. So,
it's funny. Someone said, I can't remember where I was, but it's like, I'm a huge Jag fan, but I think I'm switching teams. I was like, well, then you're not a huge Jag fan.
Yeah, you're not.
What do you mean? You're not. What do you mean you're switching teams?
I couldn't.
I've been a Jag fan for 50 years, but I'm getting it.
I still live in the city, but
like, no, then you're not a real fan. You got to stick through it, man.
Yeah.
Go ask these other teams around the league that don't win, and even the ones that have during the bad times, they're there.
Yeah, it's hard to win. And there's plenty of franchises. There's plenty of franchises. I mean, look down south. The Dolphins haven't, done a whole lot since we've been around. And
down there.
Yeah, and they're in a bad situation now. I mean, the Texans. I mean, you go all around the league, man. There's just, I mean, it's not many teams. It's hard to win a Super Bowl, man. It would take 32 years for every team to win a Super Bowl. So
that's right. It's
difficult.
It is. It is.
But all right, guys, we're probably going to conclude it here. I put in the description box down below Tom's YouTube channel. So go, hit the subscribe button over there.
Yeah, I contributed to that every couple, twice a week, talking about our hometown team and whatever else comes to mind. So I appreciate that, Dalton. It's always fun being on with you, man. You got a great studio, by the way. I'm like a mobile studio. I'm all over the house. I go wherever I can find some peace and quiet.
I mean, it didn't start off this way, man. I've been doing this for 5 years.
I like it.
So I just kind of slowly built it, and I mean, I'm
gonna put my helmet on one of these days. I'll do the show with my helmet on.
You're gonna intimidate me, man. You're gonna have me shaking over here.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's fun, man. I enjoy talking about a team and doing it right here on the Relevant app. So easy to use and great to do.
Yeah, everybody definitely go down to the description box, download the Relevant app. It's a free download. You got a Jaguars group chat, join Jaguars Fanatics. We do all different shows. Men and Teal's on there, so is a Big Cat chat. And ourselves, and we're always looking to add more. So
definitely
kind of trying to make that our one-stop shop for Jaguars talk. But all right, Tom, appreciate it so much, man.
All right, my man. Yep. Have a great night and go Jags, baby.
Go Jags.
See you.
All right, so shout out. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to King Luca B, who threw up the $10 Hail Mary. I might stay on. I might make this an hour, so maybe I'll do 12 minutes of just answering questions and stuff like that. We can, when I have that's one thing about having a guest on is I feel like I don't do enough interaction with the comment section. Because obviously you want to having a guest on a channel. I want to be hospitable. I want to give them the attention and while they're on here, taking their time to be on here. So shout out to King Luca B says another two people to keep an eye on is Dante Jackson, cornerback from the Panthers, and Peppers, strong safety from the Giants. See, I don't know if the Jaguars are going to be super keen on the defensive backs and free agency, because I think maybe the draft they might go out there and maybe they surprise us in the third round. They get a cornerback or a safety, kind of like last year, but they have a lot of money in Shaquille Griffin. They have a lot of money in Rayshon Jenkins. It doesn't feel like we're going to throw a lot of money at one of those positions. So I don't feel like that would be the move. The Jaguars do need to address the nickel cornerback spot a little bit. So, I could definitely see, something like that going on where they do something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. But thank you for the donation, man. Just Chris says, like the video. Yes, guys, like the video. That would be awesome. Timmy says Cam Robinson is a proven commodity. Draft Neal, who may be decent. Yeah, that's the thing you have to weigh. And like I was telling Tom earlier, it's like, it feels like if you bring in like an Aiden Hutchinson or a Thibodeau, you're adding a guy to the defense that you do not already have. But if you draft Evan Neal right now, then you have to weigh what is the difference in skill level between Cam Robinson and Evan Neal. Is the margin that big? But at the same time, that argument kind of gets thrown out the window because the Jaguars need to get the best player in the draft. They need to get the number one player. They can't settle for the second or third. Whoever the top player on their board is, they have to get him and they have to make it work. So that's what the Jaguars need to do. Maverick says, "Are you going to watch USFL? If so, go to Tampa Bay Bandits." I don't know. I went all in on the Apollos, Orlando Apollos back in the day. They folded. A year later, I didn't follow the XFL at all. Obviously, they folded because of COVID. It's hard for me to really follow a team if I can't have an emotional connection to it. You know what I mean? Like Orlando was right in my backyard. I was like living a mile away from UCF back then, and I was season ticket holders, was able just to comfortably go to every game. I don't know if I can get all on board with the USFL. And it's funny, I got in trouble on Twitter today because a player, like a cornerback, got drafted to one of the teams, and they said, "This team has just added a lockdown corner." I'm like, he's not a lockdown corner. If you're in the USFL, you're not a lockdown corner. It's nothing against him. He may be a good cornerback, but how many lockdown cornerbacks are there in this world? There's like 2 or 3, 4 maybe. I mean, that's just that kind of gets thrown around. I think that gets thrown around, kind of like the term GOAT. Everybody's the GOAT nowadays. GOAT stands for greatest of all times, and people give that category. People give that acronym to everybody. Cameron says, "I loved your idea of keeping Cam and signing Neal. Great offensive linemen aren't easy to come by, and we can protect Trevor Lawrence for years." Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's just we can afford to keep Cam Robinson, so keep him. You know what I mean? And load up on your offensive line. You're not, and people in that video were like, "Oh, so you want to draft a left guard number 1 overall? How stupid!" No, I'm drafting Evan Neal, who might play left guard his rookie year. And the year after that, I am moving him to tackle. And then you kind of figure out what your offensive line looks like then. I don't, drafting Evan Neal kind of leaves Cam Robinson out of my plans for 2023 and beyond. So I guess the long term. But you know what I mean? I mean, Jaguars have a lot of stuff to do, and there's going to be free agents out there that may not want to come here or we may not get. It's hard. It's hard to forecast for sure. Jesus is king. I'm late, but after the stream is over, I will watch. I will start from the beginning. There you go. That's the way you got to do it, man. That's a great thing about YouTube. You miss it, you can go back and watch a little bit more. January, man, don't think the Bucs can afford Godwin if we try to bring Chark his way. And that's, you looked at the Buccaneer situation. If they kept Tom Brady, then it really felt like they're probably going to keep Godwin. But now that Tom Brady is out of the picture, I don't know what their situation is going to look like. They have a lot of upcoming free agents. Last year they did everything they could to keep everybody around. All the starters. They kept every starter from last year. And now with Brady gone, now they're heavily inquiring into like Russell Wilson. So they might have to give up draft capital. And then obviously Russell Wilson's taken up a large amount of cap over there. There's no telling what it's going to look like. So Bucks are going to fall off quick. Yeah, they definitely mortgaged 2021 to trying to make a Super Bowl run, but now, yeah, I don't know enough about them and their situation to really give some good insight and analysis on it. But yeah, it looks like a little bit troubling of a situation. But they're a good organization. Bruce Arians is great. Jason Licht is great. They've got good coordinators with Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles, so it feels like they might figure it out. We should go all in on Davante Adams. Dude, if Davante Adams somehow reaches free agency, dude, let's go into a bidding war. Because you look at it, and we have a second-year quarterback, very cheap. You might have You might have a relatively cheap offensive line if you draft Evan Neal number 1. And like I've been saying, like, I don't give a shit about our defense next year. I don't. I want our, and I said the same thing about last year. It's like, look, if our defense isn't all that great, that's fine. But I want to see an offense that scores points. I want to see an offense that moves the ball. I want to see an offense that doesn't get 3 and outed. I want to see Trevor Lawrence look like a franchise quarterback and play like a franchise quarterback. I want to be wowed by plays our wide receivers are making. I want to have a good run game where we're mixing it up with James Robinson and Travis Etienne. I want to do everything we can this offseason to make sure this offense is good and set and good to go. If the defense is lagging behind, that's fine. I'm not trying to win the Super Bowl next year. And the Jaguars focused a lot on the defense in 2021. Now is the time to give a little bit of love to the offense. Just my opinion. Just mine. Let me know if I'm crazy. Let me know if you guys share that with me. JagFan85 says, at least there aren't any first-round Gators to pick this year. Yeah, and I'm not on that train of we can't draft Florida players are going to be busts, but hell, I'm not going to advocate toward drafting all the Gator players. That's all I'm going to say about that. Cal Trask is going to be a star next year. I'm calling it. I know Maverick is a Gator fan, so I'm sure he will say that. And a lot of Gator fans are all on board with that. And January says, I hear Blaine Gabbert will be under center for Tampa Bay. Imagine that. Yeah, Bruce Arians talked high of Blaine Gabbert, but you're going to talk high about the players you have on the roster. But they're heavily looking into upgrading and getting another quarterback. So that should tell you everything they feel about Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. But also, why would they draft Kyle Trask in the second round if they didn't? I wonder if they really thought he was going to turn into a starter, or maybe he's just not ready yet. I don't know. Jesus is King. Thoughts on tight end Dalton Schultz coming to Jags in free agency? Yeah, I saw something about that today that the Jaguars might make a move for him. Hey, I mean, we need to add another tight end. There's a lot of good tight ends. I'm all for it. He can catch the ball pretty well. We definitely need to add to that room. But thank you for the donation, man. Rob says, I'm thinking we would have to trade up to grab one of the top 6 receivers this year. What do you think it would take to move up to the Patriots at 24? A third? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I guess it just depends on who's available because, we want to draft one of the top 6 receivers, but the Patriots do too. The Patriots, that was one big thing holding them back was like, I mean, who was catching the ball for the Patriots last year? I mean, that was their weakest spot. So it's too hard. I can't. I'd just be talking on my ass if I'm going to sit here and forecast that. But yeah, maybe like a third and a fifth. I don't know. And another thing about you're not only moving from 33 to 24, but first round picks are valuable because you get that 5th-year option where other players, they have 4 years. So, that's an advantage about being a first round pick. January man, Jermaine Johnson, defensive end from FSU, is a beast and probably won't be a first rounder. Hope the Jags did their homework. Yeah, I've been seeing that name pop up a lot. And January man I think he's a Florida State fan. We have Maverick in here as the Gator fans. Wish the Giants didn't draft Kadarius Toney in last year's draft because we were about to draft him. That's true, but you never know what ETN can be. A lot of people are like writing off ETN as this bust, as a bad player, but we're yet to see. Maybe he turns out to be better than Kadarius Toney. King Ling, what's up, man? King Ling has his own Jaguars YouTube channel, so definitely go check him out. Does like hours and hours of streams. I don't know how he does it. I get tired doing this stuff, but he's out there killing it. So shout out to him. Dan Jaguar says, who is making the final decisions on free agents and free agency? That would be, I think what they're saying is a collaboration of Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke. But Trent Baalke's a GM, so obviously that comes with the title. So last question before I get out of here. Trevor says, what is going on with the EVP? I don't know. And the thing, here's what I've been telling people. I don't think EVP is a rush thing. When you have a, like when you don't have a head coach is a priority. You need to fill a head coach role. When you don't have a GM, you need to go out there and fill the GM role relatively quickly. I don't think it's the same with EVP. You know, they might be waiting it out. You might not hire him for a week or two. I don't know if there's a huge urgency on that. That's just my thoughts. And shout out to Kingeling for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. You got your Duval emojis. There you go, man. Welcome to the membership. Really, really appreciate that. But all right, guys, I'm going to sign off here. It's been an hour. Thanks, everyone, for coming in here. Shout out to Tom McManus for coming over here and doing the Duval Vibes stream over here for this week. Next week, we'll be back on the Relevant app to do it over there. But shout out to everybody, all 103 of you guys. Before you head out, definitely drop a like for me. I would really appreciate that. But all right, guys, thank you and go Jags.